Hello and welcome all to the TESOL International Conference and this very exciting session entitled Korean English Teachers Professional Development Needs, a National Survey. I'm very happy to hand it now over to our two presenters, Taehee and Hyun. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Garth. So, and also thank you very much for all of us, here for joining us in this very early hour on a weekend. And as you can see, we're going to talk about professional development needs of teachers of English teachers in South Korea, and it draws on the British Council East Asia feasibility study. This three-nation comparative study was commissioned by the British Council and conducted by the Trinity College London. Professor Kim and I were invited to conduct the study, analyze data, and also advise on the Korean context. This study maps out the current on and offline professional development for English language teachers, but focusing on basic education in the three countries of China, Japan, and South Korea. It consists of two phases, one online survey, and the other was interviews. The study of Korean case study explores the practice, but also we wanted to learn about the attitudes, needs, and engagement of teachers with online professional development activities and tools. And also we were asked to investigate how much they are familiar with the British Council activities, obviously. And finally, we were asked to give some suggestions for future direction. The first phase, survey study, I will share the findings. And then for the second phase, interview studies, Professor Kim will share the findings. The survey was participated by about 400 teachers, but of these, only 312 teachers met the criteria, meaning that they were working at basic education and the public sector. And of these, 80% completed the survey, and then the rest answered some questions and didn't reply to others. So as you can see, they were mostly teachers, reflecting the current situation in South Korea, that the teaching force is mostly female. And the majority were in their 30s and 40s, and then had about 11 to 15 years of experience. And the survey was responded by teachers of all administrative regions, except for the Jeju Islands. And over half of them were living in the city. We asked whether they were familiar with the main providers of professional development in South Korea and whether they have participated in these programs that were offered by them. And all teachers said they are all familiar with these main providers, including the Education Training Institute of District Office of Education, followed by National Education Training Institute and the University Affiliated Education Training Institutes. They also said they were aware of the British Council, but they were not really using the programs from there. So we can see that teachers all know where to turn to when they want to participate in professional development, but they don't necessarily participate in all the programs offered by these institutes. We also asked whether, what they want from these professional development programs. And obviously they still have concerns about their English proficiency skills and teaching pedagogy of the reading, the three skills, reading, writing, and speaking. But they also want to go more broader. They also wanted to know how to assess English, but they also want to know the 21st century skills and how to teach them. And they wanted to know the online teaching pedagogy or the platforms, etc. They are less interested in the elements of the skills such as like grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary. You can see that the fact that communicative language teaching approach is orthodox is reflected by this, and the context that this is an EFL context, and then also the macro and social changes that are happening, such as the COVID-19, and then also the fact that the government has been emphasizing the 21st century skill for some time now. The popular types of professional development teachers attended most, whether it is face-to-face or online. The official ones, such as attending courses, seminars, and workshops, was the most popular ones that they used. And then for the face-to-face, they also like reading a lot, and then they like to talk with the colleagues to sharpen their ideas, and they are also doing a lot of peer observation. For online, they watch videos like YouTube, etc. And also they try to get materials from all these different sources, like whether it's non-government websites or international websites or government websites. For the past 1 year, they also attended different programs. So the previous program, we just gave 6 major organizations. This time we added the private organization and then their own schools. And you can see that with these the response pattern changes. So the Korean government has been emphasizing learning in their own school because the context of each school is very different. And this comes out as the second for the face-to-face. And we can see that a lot of private organizations, as you may be aware, in Korea, there are many private organizations offering programs that are endorsed by the governments, and they are playing key roles in the online PD programs. The popular platforms, unlike in many other contexts, or maybe similar, the majority of the teachers use the local platforms, both in their personal lives and in their PD. For instance, KakaoTalk or Naver Cafe or Band. Some were using Instagram's, Facebook, and Twitter, but it is less popular. Korea is known to have the best infrastructure for online activities, and thus few teachers reported any barriers in terms of the infrastructure. However, some were worried about the cost of data. So what factors affect their decision-making in terms of participation in online programs or even the offline, because we asked both. The main factors that drive their PD activity participation is intrinsic, meaning that they are interested in improving themselves. So they wanted to improve their pedagogy, and also they are concerned about practicality. So they are attracted by programs that provide directly usable in-class activities or materials, or inform new ideas and developments, and help address problems they face in their daily practice. The salary bonus or promotion, such like instrumental motivators, did not really affect their participation. We also wanted to know more about teachers' views on diverse aspects of professional development. And we can see this comes like an online activity comes as very strong, as I said, it is probably because of the pandemic, as well as the fact that the government has been emphasizing this for so long, the ICT assisted learning. And the majority wanted more professional development activities in English. And as you may be aware, the budget in comparison to, for instance, like 5-10 years ago, the budget for professional development in English language teaching has been reduced. So probably that's what. And they feel that the accessible programs are of high quality, but they want more support to attend that, such as reducing the workload, giving more time, etc. And UK is recognized as the source of expertise in ELT. I think some of you may be aware of native speakerism, etc. But they feel that the local authorities understand their needs better. We had two open-end items. The first one was asking them, so what area they want more PD programs. Some didn't specify what they want, but they said, please give us more opportunities to do professional development. So it's quite notable. And then again, teaching related. So new teaching method, materials, and then they wanted to improve their own skills. And still we can see that they are interested in online teaching pedagogy. The keywords, so these are the areas, but they justify these as the keywords such as they want to engage students and motivate students. So you can see that they really wanted to improve as teachers. And some said they were not confident to conduct assessments, especially around the task-based or project-based teaching, which is a new reform in English that has been going on for some years. Finally, we also asked them, so what they think make professional development more effective. Then they wanted diversity and variety within the program. They don't want to be bored. And also they wanted opportunities to exchange ideas. If they think it should be long-term, they wanted it to be participation oriented. And all these reflect the key features that have been proved from the international literature as the effective ones, and then the ones that sustain the change behaviors. And finally, even though it is not mentioned here, the other teachers, they also mentioned the systemic support to help them to participate in these activities. So hopefully this sharing has given you some ideas about the Korean context. And now Professor Kim will share the in-depth insights from the interview studies. Professor Kim, do you want to share your slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing.
Okay, now I share the findings from the interviews. We conducted the interviews to confirm the survey findings and explore the teachers' needs and attitudes in details. We had 63 survey respondents who volunteered for a follow-up interview. We randomized their names, and I contacted them until I secured 20 interviewees. The interviews were conducted online using Zoom. The language used during the interview was Korean for accurate communication between the interviewer and interviewees. After completing all the interviews, I summarized the responses in English. The first set of questions was given to all respondents. They were about what the teachers need for their professional development and how they feel about online PD and how they think about educational authorities' support. As for professional development needs, the teachers wanted more development on teaching reading skills, teaching writing skills, teaching students of different levels, especially teaching lower level students in the case of junior high school teachers. One junior high school teacher mentioned that there are some students who do not have basic reading, writing skills, so he wants to know how to teach them in regular classes without excluding them from the other students. Besides teaching skills, the teachers wanted to improve their own English proficiency. Teachers' attitudes about online PD were very positive. They well recognized online PD's advantages, benefits, and convenience. As for online PD provided by educational authorities, the teachers had a mixture of positive and negative attitudes at the same time. First, they thought educational authorities provide more teacher-relevant programs or opportunities than private organizations, and they assist teachers' PD activities by arranging teachers' communities such as PLCs. However, the teachers made critical comments too. They thought online PD provided by educational authorities was not sufficiently informed of, not sufficiently practical or interactive. Besides, they believe the feedback from the participants does not seem to be considered in the subsequent training programs, they said. The rest of the questions were prepared considering the teachers' experiences of online PD and British Council resources. All the 20 interviewees said that they have participated in online PD in the last 12 months, and almost half of them said they have used British Council resources. The interview showed that the teachers participated in various programs and activities for their professional development, such as online PD by Office of Education, private websites, EBS or BBC or British Council. Also, they acquired useful information and sources of materials from social media, such as KakaoTalk Open Chatting Room or Naver blogs or cafes. When they were asked which way of online PD they prefer, most of the teachers answered they prefer live online sessions, largely because they can communicate and interact real time with the instructor or other participants. And a few teachers said they prefer recorded online PD because they can watch it anytime and can stop it and return to it later anytime. As for the future of online PD, all the respondents said there would be a demand for online PD even after the COVID-19. They thought many teachers had now experienced how beneficial and how convenient online learning is, so they would like to move on with it. Some teachers noted that a blended approach combining face-to-face and online together would be effective. Among 20 interviewees, 11 teachers said they have not used British Council resources, and their reasons were different. Some of them said they already had enough resources, so they didn't need to search for other resources. And others said British Council resources do not fit the Korean curriculum and textbooks. In addition, American English is preferred in schools. When they were asked about what kind of resources they want and how they can be promoted and provided, they answered what they want was very practical and classroom-oriented programs and resources such as lesson planning, classroom observations, and video clips or lectures showing classroom practice or teaching demonstrations. And they want resources that can be directly and easily applied without any adaptation. Now, suggestions for the future of professional development. Based on the findings from the survey and interviews, we could make some suggestions. First, teachers' interests should be considered in deciding the topics the programs will cover. For example, teaching skills and improving teachers' proficiency should be balanced, and teaching skills should be very specific, like teaching teaching reading or writing to lower level students. Second, official professional development provided by educational authorities should be informed more efficiently, not just in the form of one-time official notice. And it should be sufficiently coordinated and practical without much overlap between courses or even programs. Third, while online PD should be conducted interactively, a blended PD can be expanded and run effectively. PD programs should include a variety of options and longer activities. In addition, opportunities to exchange experience with other teachers and teachers' learning communities, such as PLCs, should be more activated. Additional support is necessary too. Workloads should be reduced, credits and financial support should be more provided. Above all, rather than top-down approach, bottom-up approach should be encouraged and promoted in professional development. Conventional forms of professional development, such as training courses and workshops, are very widespread, providing various useful opportunities. However, more teacher-driven collaborative approaches and teachers' voluntary activities should be more activated for further expansion. We hope the findings from this study and suggestions contribute to improving future PD programs. And for more details, please, you can see the report by Borg, Alexander, Viewmont, Choi, and Kim, 2022. And Professor Choi, could you share the slide of references?
We have 3 minutes left.
Yes, could you add something for suggestions or references?
Dr. Choi, you are muted.
Sorry. Yes, I was just saying, I think we shared most of the things that we wanted to share. And then if you any further questions, you can just write to us. And we are happy to answer any questions with the 2 minutes left.
Yes, let's open the floor to some questions if there are any. We do have 2 minutes. Also, I am sharing the Discord server link now. If there is more discussion or questions, you can all go to that link and continue the discussion there. So let's open the floor to some questions. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Yes, George.
Hi, Professor Choi and Professor Kim. Thanks for your presentation. It was very insightful. I also study and do a lot of research in teacher education in South Korea. And one of the major findings in your report is this idea that the teachers want this kind of practical teacher education, right? And this is something that I found in my own research as well. But there's also this idea that, you know, British Council materials, these materials from Western authorities, they're the experts in teacher education. And, you know, I was thinking, how do we bridge this gap between teachers wanting practical, and then we're providing these resources from countries that are totally decontextualized, who don't know about the Korean situation? What should we be doing in South Korea to kind of move forward and develop more contextualized teacher education programs in this country?
Professor Kim, do you want to go first?
Yes, I think Right, the teachers want and need more practical and classroom-oriented professional development, and the resources or programs or sessions from British Council cannot be directly or easily applied to Korean context, like you said. So I think we need to some kind of co-work between the experts from British councils and Korean educational educators.
Yeah, I agree with Professor Kim. And also at the same time, nowadays, because of this high density of exchanges and, like a so-called globalization, certain aspects are now kind of like emerging. So I don't think like it's always there is just binary. So some aspects we do need collaboration, and then from this work we felt it was quite useful. At the same time, there are some cores, and then these days it's not that always the East looks to the West. These days there is the other trend, the West is looking at the East. So I think it is really collaboration, and then also there are changes in this, like, the differences between these two contexts, so to speak.
Okay, thank you very much.
I don't think we necessarily have time for any more questions, but please do, if you want to continue the discussion, and I encourage you to do so, please pop over to the Discord server and continue to engage. Thank you very much, Dr. Choi and Professor Kim. It was a really interesting presentation, and hope to hear more about it in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Exchange. Just in case, I will go to the Discord, just to in case. Yeah. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
You too.
Thank you. You too.